Dominating headlines this week in Pennsylvania was Governor Wolf's post-Labor Day announcement that restaurants would be allowed to return to 50% fire code capacity starting September 21. On the surface, the governor's team might be thinking they gave the industry what it's been demanding since July 15th, a return to 50% occupancy. Rather than being warmly received, this new order has been met with nearly universal distaste and outright anger because of the ludicrous strings attached. The nearly 2-week delay between the announcement and the implementation is incomprehensible. The governor's team gave the industry a full 8.5-hour window to abruptly pivot from 50% occupancy to the disastrous 25% occupancy on July 15th. If we can shut down the industry that quickly, why the lengthy delay to boot it back up? Ending alcoholic beverage service at 10 p.m. is the nail in the coffin for many operations. Many of you have reached out to us. The Secretary of Health says it's to curtail congregating by college students at local bars. Never mind the consequences of the majority of restaurants who don't attract that crowd. Taking away bar service for college kids will not stop them from congregating at private residences. Bar seating on September 21 is in limbo. It may be permitted or it may continue to be banned. However, bar seating is essential for many restaurants to even reach 50% with the required social distancing. Most egregious to many restaurateurs is the requirement to go through a state certification process to allow for 50% seating. In his announcement, the governor said this provision was modeled after a program used by the state of Connecticut, but failed to mention that Connecticut's program applies to all retail businesses and, unlike Pennsylvania, does not unfairly discriminate against one business group, in this case, restaurants. PRLA was not consulted in advance of the release of Tuesday's order. We do not support it. I point this out because Governor Wolf touted the collaborative relationship between his administration and PRLA during Thursday's press conference. However, our collaboration had effectively ended when his office released the July 15th order behind our back. It is true that PRLA was the driving force with the administration to bring outdoor dining to the yellow phase, a move that provided a lifeline to thousands of restaurants. PRLA spearheaded the Drinks to Go bill and collaborated with the PLCB to expedite the expansion of premises provision. PRLA also collaborated with the governor's office to meticulously develop safe and sensible green restaurant reopening guidance. Why the administration threw out these safe and sensible guidelines with the surprise July 15 order still cannot be answered. Had the governor's team consulted PRLA in advance of the July 15th order or the September 8th order, it's quite likely many of the disastrous outcomes could have been avoided. PRLA has been available literally at a moment's notice to assist the governor and his team in making sound, practical decisions. I spoke directly with the governor earlier this week. He said that he has always wanted his team to work with us. As I pointed out to Governor Wolf, that collaborative effort ended on July 15th when his team turned their backs on us. We did not walk away from the process. Since July 15, we've turned our focus on legislative fixes to this mess. It's a slower process than working directly with the administration, but our efforts are gaining traction. The PRLA-endorsed PA House Bill 2513 is on the move. The bill would essentially return restaurants and private event venues back to the guidelines that were in place prior to the disastrous and ill-conceived July 15 order. That means restaurants and private events could operate at 50%. Bar seating would be restored, and the meal requirement to purchase alcohol would no longer be in place. The 10 p.m. curfew, also vitally important, is being worked on, but because this was a surprise this week, it was not included in the original legislation. On Tuesday, House Bill 2513 was voted out of the Senate Law and Justice Committee unanimously. That means that every senator on the committee, regardless of party affiliation, stood with restaurants and did the right thing. Wednesday, the bill was voted out of the Senate Appropriations Committee with an overwhelming 20-4 bipartisan vote. Only 4 senators turned their backs on the restaurant industry, the industry of first jobs, the second largest industry in the state, the industry that employs more minority managers than any other in the country, the industry where almost half of its 580,000 dedicated team members in Pennsylvania could lose their jobs. We thank those 20 senators who set aside party politics and stood with our industry. Those who did not stand with our restaurants were Senate Minority Leader Jay Costa of Pittsburgh, where it is reported that 116 restaurants have already permanently closed. Senators Art Haywood and Vincent Hughes, both serving Montgomery and Philadelphia counties, and Senator Sharif Street of Philadelphia. I'm repeatedly asked by frustrated and desperate restaurateurs, what can I do to help? At this moment, our best hope lies in House Bill 2513. Please reach out to your state senator and let them know that you need them to stand with you and your employees, that this is truly a vote of survival for your restaurant and your team members. Once the bill passes the Senate, it goes back to the House on concurrence. We want and frankly need an overwhelming support there also. So while you reach out to your senators, also reach out to your representatives and let them know you're counting on their support. It's been a grueling 6 months, especially since July 15th. And I know that as an industry, we're losing hope. The overwhelming bipartisan support we've received for House Bill 2513 during the 12 roundtables PRLA has held across the state in the last 2 weeks have begun to restore my faith. More than 200 legislators participated in our roundtables, and not one has indicated that they did not support restaurants. Between now and September 21, we need every hospitality industry owner, manager, and team member to help us maintain the palpable bipartisan momentum. Together, and with the bipartisan support of the Pennsylvania legislature, we can safely save our businesses. I'm John Longstreet with a special edition of It Happened This Week. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again next week.